today we're going to be doing the power steering rack and trying to do the sway bar on it. Here we got the Sikky sway bar, because 1J swaps you can't really use the OEM sway bars, so you have to go with theirs because it is a little longer. But yeah, anyways, let's get this car jacked up and drain the fluid. Alright, we got the car all jacked up here. So this is the steering rack that we're going to be running. Basically, it's an OEM steering rack that KFAB actually makes. So shout out to KFAB. If you guys need a power steering rack, replace your old 30-year-old one, head over to Drift HQ and you can pick up a KFAB power steering rack from them. It's around $400. You know, not too expensive, not too cheap, but it's a good amount. You don't need to have a core return on it either. So it's all, I want to say it's rebuilt, but anyways, it's brand new. So we're gonna go ahead and get the old one off and get this new one on there. The 4 bolts, tie rods, and then of course the power steering lines that come off, along with the steering shaft. So once those 4 are off, the steering rack should just pop right off and you put the new one on. Alright, so just got the tie rods on off on both sides. Next thing we need to do is basically drain power steering fluid. So I'm going to take off the boots on these on both sides. The right side of this rack is completely shot. So there's literally just fluid all over. So I know there's a lot of fluid inside of this, so I'm going to dump that out too. Basically, I take off the boots, let this basically drain out all the way, and take off the rack from there. So let's get that going. Oh, dude, this rack is fucked. Oh my god. Ooh. No wonder why the freaking steering wheel steers like that. Alright, just got the boots off on both sides of the steering rack. So when I have the steering rack on, and whenever I really daily drive this on the road or do something like that, the steering was really freaking sloppy to the point where if I drove down the road, the steering wheel would be shaking just bad. It was horrible. So I always thought it was an alignment on the car, but you know, after working on this, you know, I don't think steering racks are supposed to, I don't think they're supposed to shake like that. That's pretty freaking bad. So yeah, definitely this is a good thing to be changing, especially for, you know, for the next drift event. This is extremely bad. So yeah, let's just get this freaking, oh, man, it's leaking all over. Let's get this out of the car, put the new one in, and never think about this again. Alright, with the tie rod off, next thing we do is get the power steering hoses off and make a mess. This would be nice, so. Alright, just got the power steering lines all disconnected, and also got the Chase Bay power steering lines adapters connected to the new power steering rack. So basically the only thing that we're going to have to do now is pull those 4 bolts out of the steering rack and in the steering column too, and it should just fall right out. So for another 10 more minutes it should be out. Alright, so we just got the old power steering rack taken off. So what we did is we took the first column off on the top, moved the bottom one, and we replaced it on the new one. So the reason why I also took off the old tie rods, the tie rods that come with it are actually just stock tie rods. They're a lot shorter because what I'm doing is my knuckles are actually extended 15 millimeters, which allow the wheels to poke out a lot more to get more angle. So I'm gonna have to run the old tie rods I had. This one actually is a little bit bent due to last event. I bought PBM tie rods. They're just a little too short. Apparently I need like the extra extended one. I didn't know that. So we'll be running these ones for now. And then before next event, I'll get the PBM ones on there and I'll replace them and we should be good from there. So let's go ahead and get these tie rods on, put the new rack on, and we should be good from there. Alright, so we just got the new steering rack on, along with the PBM, call it the bushings, solid mount bushings that actually push the rack forward. So that's all good. Everything else is on. Power steering lines are back on too. But yeah, other than that, the steering rack looks brand new. Basically, shouldn't have any leaks at all. No issues again. In a couple, I want to say in a month, I'll get the new PBM ones before the next drift event to replace this, because I don't know if you could tell, I was still a little bent, but once I get the PBM ones, they are a lot thicker, a lot more stronger, and this should take a lot more. Not enough to, break the rack. That would still break first. Anyways, yep, we're gonna get that on. Next thing we need to put on is gonna be the sway bar. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on real quick. I already have the brackets on here still. I just never had them on yet. All right, so we just got the sway bar on. Next thing we need to do is just put load on the tires so that we can actually get the right spec for the sway bar. So we're gonna go ahead and lower it down on these little bucket things here and then just tighten it down. All right, so we just finished up putting the sway bar in. The new power steering rack is in too. So next thing we do is just go test drive it. We just did an alignment on it. Alignment wasn't horrible, actually. It's pretty close to spec, but yeah, anyways, no more noise, no more freaking annoying power steering squeaking noise. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and test drive it and we'll see how it does.
I bet you wish you had one of these, boys and girls.